Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Today, our victim hails from Los Angeles, and he's a YouTuber and a stand-up comedian, and he's going to talk about himself and YouTube Comedy Week, and his name is Andre Meadows, a.k.a. Black Nerd Comedy.
Yay! Welcome, Andre.
Thank you. I just got bought by Yahoo while I was sitting here. They just threw $1 billion at me. I'm Yahoo's Black Nerd.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Man.
The Big B.
So Andre, it's so good to meet you. You were part of YouTube's Comedy Week this week.
Well, I did a video for YouTube's Comedy Week.
That makes you part of it.
That makes me part of it.
You can't deny it now.
Well, there's different levels. There's people that put in videos, and then there was like the people that got to be on stage, and the people that did videos with YouTube. It was, it was a big week.
So how did that dialogue come about? Did they come to you, or you were just like, you know what, I want to participate in this community event, and you just made it and then branded it as Comedy Week?
Okay, so there were people that they contacted and went, hey, we love you. You're going to be part of Comedy Week 3 months ago. And there were people that are like, hey, we want you to be part of YouTube Comedy Week. It's happening next week, and make something. So that was I was in that category. No,
I was in that one too. Yeah.
So you did something for it too, Lamar?
Well, unofficially, they like Andre. They messaged me. Well, they messaged me like 2 or 3 days before during the weekend and say, hey, if you could just have this up by next week. And I was like, I have no time. They gave me like 2 or 3 days notice, and I couldn't get anything up. So
I heard the same exact thing happened to Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. It was like just like an hour before launch. They said, guys, could you do something for us real quickly? That's
how they acted when they were there. Or at least, yeah,
I have to say,
there.
It didn't help Sarah Silverman. It didn't help any of these guys that have a little Seth Rogen. It wasn't that funny.
Let's get Andre's take, because I want to because not only is he a comedian, Andre is a stand-up comedian, so you kind of in both worlds. So I would definitely want to get your raw, honest opinion, and don't you dare hold back.
The comedian in me and the YouTuber in me were like at odds. It was like two guys, saying, well, I like this and I like this. I actually thought a lot of the stand-up was funny. That's me personally. I think stand-up definitely plays better live than it does watching on a screen. You can be very extra judgmental on a joke when you're sitting at home versus if you're seeing it live.
That's true.
So I will say that. I definitely feel like the show itself was definitely better than the pre-show. The pre-show had some funny moments, but I don't think it was because of the jokes that were written. I think it was more of just some of the awkwardness, because you did have this interesting mix of YouTubers and of, comedians who were just like, what is this? So that was a very interesting ride. And then there was some comments about like how some of the YouTubers weren't, on top of their game or weren't as funny. But from what I could tell, it seems like their stuff was kind of written. I don't know what the behind the scenes was, but I've watched a lot of award shows to kind of know when I hear that sort of, this is an award show banner. And I feel like that
Bruce Valanche wrote everything.
Yeah. So I feel like that sometimes that didn't come off, because I don't feel like it really showcased the personalities that makes a lot of these people famous. I mean, like watching Toby Turner do one of his songs, nailed it. But like watching someone who you see do sketches or whatever on YouTube now doing like this funny award show thing.
I think that's pretty accurate, Andre, that Sarah Silverman and Seth Rogen were doing not even probably their own canned material they just weren't that comfortable with.
I have to agree with him. Now, I have not gone to many comedy shows, but I have to say, and this might offend some of the YouTubers, like Andre said, I thought the comedians were way better than the YouTubers, because they're professional at this. They know how to work a crowd. Now, to be fair to the YouTubers, you got somebody like Smosh. We remember, Andre, we were there, but they had like 20 seconds on stage. Yeah. Whereas a comedian had
basically introduced the comedian.
And a comedian had 3 to 5 minutes or more of really good prepared content, and so they appeared to me to be a lot better, which. Was YouTube, Andre, do you think YouTube was trying to tilt more towards the professional people versus the YouTubers? Was that intentional, do you think?
That's been the issue for the past year with YouTube. YouTube obviously is trying to make themselves a bigger presence. They want to compete with Hulu or Yahoo Hulu or whatever is going to end up being there. And so it seems like that whether it's their decision or someone telling them, the way to do that is to bring in more celebrities. That's why we saw the premium content channels that were very celebrity driven and this and the other. And again, I just feel like that sometimes you may need to look inside. Like, I just feel like that there are some ways, like a lot of the good stuff that came from Comedy Week, or a lot of the good reviews came from a lot of the videos that ended up showing up after that show. Like a lot of the articles that I read were talking like, oh, this is a great sketch from Key of Awesome. This is a great sketch from the Fun Brothers or from Rhett and Link or whatever. Like that was the type of stuff you were hearing. This was from YouTubers. But it seems like when it comes to, we have to do something flashy so we can advertise on TV, on wherever, it seems like they go, stuff it with celebrities, and that just becomes a weird thing. And then on top of that, it was also a restricted only show, 17 and up, which YouTube's main audience, as we know, is very young. So that was kind of a funny thing too, is like, here's this big thing we're doing, Comedy Week, but you can't watch it unless you're over 18.
I have a question I want to get y'all's take on. Why would YouTube even do a Comedy Week? What is the benefit for them to bring out celebrities, to bring out this sort of like horse and pony show, to show everyone that they can make content?
That's it.
Yeah, to me, is part legitimacy. It's just to show the mainstream, hey, we have real people who are on YouTube, as if us content creators are not the real people.
But do you think that mainstream is even watching? Because to me, only YouTubers are watching. They're not talking to anyone else.
I think mainstream will probably watch this because they had commercials, actual TV commercials about this. So I think they tuned in to see, Arnold Schwarzenegger was talked about it, but he wasn't on the show. They had different TV, Sarah Silverman's popular. But I think once regular people watched it, they probably just tuned out of it because it wasn't that interesting. Andre, what do you think of his question?
Well, yeah, I mean, this was that was actually an article too. This was the first time that YouTube actually bought television ad space to advertise this week.
Right.
And I think it was to show that like, hey, we have this content. I think that the celebrities were kind of used to be like, hey, let's also keep in mind that like Sarah Silverman and Reggie Watts and Michael Cera and all of them, they have a new channel. Some of the other celebrities that showed up on this have started creating YouTube channels. So I'm sure it was advertisement for them and also for advertisement for YouTube to say, we do have this content. And comedy, of course, is a great equalizer of like, oh, hey, here's a whole week we're going to dedicate to this. So I feel like it is that whole legitimacy thing. I just feel like that, it's growing. It's going to be something that there's going to be a lot of experimenting and things like that. But it is kind of interesting, particularly to see that it seems to be let's go grab celebrities versus let's see what we have in our own content and beef it up. Because I thought we kind of learned from all the premium content that that's not always a winning solution. So even YouTube kind of recognized that when they talked about their new fronts this past year. So I don't know. It just was, there was some good, there was some bad. I think the live show was very interesting. Also too long, I felt.
How long was it?
It was a 2-hour show and then an hour pre-show. And they advertised to come in during the pre-show. So I feel like
we were there 3
no
hours
pre-show, just straight, hour and a half and get out.
I kind of feel for the poor folks at YouTube. They're really trying to be more than the crotch shot and kids singing into their hairbrushes. They want to be legitimate. They want to be quote real media, and they've hired guys to run the business that come from Hollywood, and so that's what they think is real. Is Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman doing bad sketch comedy? They think that's real media. They think the Carol Burnett show was the height of humor. And unfortunately, that's not what people who watch YouTube want. I've been really thinking about YouTube numbers, and nothing becomes viral on YouTube unless you watch it over and over again. It has to be something you will watch more than once to be successful, don't you think? On YouTube? And that really eliminates a lot of this kind of traditional media. You're not going to watch a stand-up act more than once. You're going to watch, a dog bite somebody in the groin a few times, but you're not going to watch a stand-up routine.
Well, no, I think that there actually is a lot of legitimate content on YouTube. And I think that's to me is actually the problem, is that I don't feel like that's what's getting a lot of advertising, because that's what YouTube wants. They want people to know that they're not just dogs.
Right.
Biting crotches.
Isn't that is that swimming upstream though?
No, it's there. It's just when the time comes to go, let's celebrate or let's advertise it, then that's when they go to, like the comedy show or like they have the celebrities. And the problem is the people that are coming into the space that they're bringing to advertise don't know the space. So then they go to like you were saying about the whole Wild West thing. That's somebody who hasn't been on YouTube for the past 5 years thinks of YouTube. Whereas the people who've been here and created quality content knows exactly how that space works. So my feeling is do what they're doing, advertise themselves, but let's, and of course you got to sprinkle in somebody for names, but bring them into the world that you've created rather than trying to bring traditional media into the YouTube space, because there's a reason why traditional media hasn't been in that space.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, so take advantage of what you have.
It's kind of
there.
funny because what's going to happen is that people in Hollywood are going to be seen as out of touch.
Yes,
Whereas in the past, they've been thought leaders and culture leaders around the world. This world's moving too fast, and they're really just looking out of touch. They're looking like they're kind of old fashioned.
Well, you could see it, and I mean that's why I was talking about the pre-show. You could definitely see in some segments of the pre-show that there was almost a little bit of passive aggressiveness, because there are named talents who are feeling like, wow, I am out of touch because there's this whole community of people here.
Who was the dude,
so I got to break
we were
them down.
laughing at? Who was the dude we were cracking up at? I forgot his name.
Oh, there was
Norm
Macdonald.
Oh my God.
Norm Macdonald by himself is at. I mean, that's old history himself, right?
Dude, it was hilarious. Like he showed up in sweatpants. And he just didn't care.
Good.
And he was just an a-hole to like everybody, which made it funny. Like
that's good.
It was awkward, but he set some of those YouTubers in their place. He's like, no, I'm not following the script. I'm doing what I want. I'm Norm.
Good.
And I just laughed.
Good.
You can't control Norm Macdonald.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah. It's SNL. Baby.
I think you got to think Sarah Silverman, who's made her name as being the bad girl of comedy, must feel a little bit at sea when nothing she could do really is outrageous on YouTube.
What's interesting is Sarah Silverman she has her own personal YouTube channel. She's done videos about
some of her stuff is quite creative. Actually.
Yeah, she's actually probably one of the most forward-thinking celebrities that I've seen on YouTube.
I hate celebrities, and I think
I do too.
Celebrities don't belong on YouTube. Just let's just get rid of them. Let's just get rid of them. Wow. And if somebody, if Andre becomes super famous, that's it. So Andre, you have to leave now.
Well, that'll never happen. So I'll be here for.
We'll be here forever then.
Jay Leno should not be on YouTube.
No,
he's got a channel.
I think it would be great, but I feel like that there needs to be that mix. I feel like you just can't go what I call what the WB did. It's gonna be a weird analogy, but when the WB first came out, it was more blacker than BET. It was like every show was a black show, and they did that to build the cred up. And then they were like, now here's Dawson's Creek.
Now we don't need you anymore. Here comes some white folk.
Here comes some white folks. So that's all I'm saying is that I think YouTube is doing some great things. I think they're having some great talent. What I don't want to have happen is they go, all right, we're big enough. So
that's what's happening.
Here's all this.
But that's exactly what's happening, isn't it? That's how I feel.
But what's helpful is that the audience is going, no, we don't want that.
Right.
We want the real deal.
You nailed it, Andre. It's exactly it. It's what YouTube wants. It's not what the audience wants.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
So
we can go home now. It's done. The show's over.
Wrap it up, folks.
Andre's the new host. I'm out of here.
No, you nailed it. That's exactly what I've been trying to articulate for weeks. Precisely.